Whenever I think I've figured out how to color my comic, I always get thrown a curveball. Hi, my name is Escobar. I'm a storyboard artist on the Simpsons television show. I've been working on the show for over 25 years now, and I'm here to empower you. So I've been coloring these comics. This is comic number 6, and every single time it's still a little bit of a struggle. I think at the end of the day, I'm going to have to accept the fact that it's going to always be a struggle. I don't think that it's ever gonna just kind of be simple. I think the one time, which was in comic number 2, that it was simple, that was the exception to the rule. All the other ones are just going to have to be a little bit about finding as you go what works and what isn't working for you. This comic is no exception, so I'll show you what I mean in the video. As is usually the case with these, I start by figuring out what the colors of the figure are going to be, the local colors, and then I decide what the range of tone is going to be on each of the local colors. So there it is on the left. And once I figure that out, now I have something to use to lift and the gradients, to create gradients out of. And of course, I missed a few colors, so I'm adding them into the little pile there. So I've got the bowl, and having flattened everything, I'm basically, what I'm doing, if you don't notice, there's a little lock on the layers. There's a little lock symbol on it, so that means that I'm actually coloring on top of the actual selection the flat color that I did in the last video. Adding a little bit of blush, creating the gradient for his shirt, his pants, the bowl, uh, and see how dark it is. That's because I took the light out of the light out. I'm adding some texture to the uh, pillow there, uh, just to make it look feel a little bit more African. Like the whole idea of Lou's house is that it should feel somewhat African, and in African colors or in African houses, or they seem to really like really bright colors, very bright yellows and things like that. So I thought that okay, let's use that. Let's put that kind of tone and like those kind of hues for the background. And next is doing pretty much the same thing. And the struggle here was because the character has dark skin. Uh, they needed to be able to pop out from the background, which is another good reason to have yellows in the back. Uh, but there was a value. I believe that I had set up that it was a dark value behind the character. So that meant that the light needed to hit the character, and it's a white light, I believe, as if it's coming from a giant window or some kind of glass window over to the left, so that it feels bright, it feels really white, and it allows the character to pop from that green value in the back. And uh, that was still part of the struggle, trying to get the skin to and still make him look dark skinned. See, that's the thing. Like, the more you lighten, that you add light, the less dark the skin looks. And I didn't want to lose the dark tone of the skin. So notice how and also it seemed really like the saturation on the skin, it felt too gray. And dark skin is often very red and vibrant, and it's got a lot of. It's really beautiful, and it's got a lot of color, and I think that I was losing that, so I had to saturate uh, the color as I went, and I think that this has become an issue throughout every single one of these comics that I've been coloring. Every single one of the comics that I've done, as I went, the hue of the color always was too gray. It always ended up becoming very, very gray, and it lost its saturation. I want this comic to feel colorful, and this is too much. It feels too red. It needed to be toned down a little bit. And it was because I hadn't added the white yet. That's why. When I added the light color, the color of the light into the figure, like the value, the hues of the local colors of the skin, really lost a lot of its saturation. So that was really the trickiest part of doing this comic, coloring this comic, was not losing the saturation of the skin, and still allow it to pop out from the background. So and that overall was the biggest struggle. But then it did end up looking nice at the end, and I was very happy with the way it turned out. So thanks a lot for joining me, and I'll talk to you next time. Right.